Welcome to the second episode of Series 44, everyone. We'll get right back to making our characters in just a moment. But first, some announcements. If you haven't noticed, we broke our normal schedule this month quite a bit by releasing a spotlight episode in the middle of a series. We just couldn't wait to get this bonus episode to you, however, because the game we spotlit, was Haunted Hill Academy, a game about a spooky boarding school and trying to uncover its mysteries while being a student there. We had a lot of fun creating characters for it, and Amelia's son is obsessed with the game as well, so we need to help ensure that this gets funded. It runs through the end of the month, and it only takes $5 to get the game in a plain text format or $15 for a well-presented PDF. It may say it's a two-player game, but there are additional rules for groups, and you can hear that group mechanic in action in our bonus episode. So check out the Kickstarter if you haven't already. It would be really cool to have this game be published, if for nothing else, just so Nate gets to play it. That'd be worth it in the end. Finally, AcadeCon event registration is live for everyone. Amelia and I both have some great events planned, so absolutely check those out. Amelia is running a couple Arium Create sessions that weekend, and we are both doing a panel together for this very show. I also have 2 games of Chimera planned, as well as 1 game of Our Final Gathering, which I think I'll be trying to run every year if this one goes well too. It was a lot of fun the first time, and I can't wait to see how it goes this next time. I can't think of any other announcements for this episode, so we'll get right to it. Thanks for your patience as our schedule gets a little wonky leading into November. I'm on the final stretch of preparing for the move, so things should go back to normal once AcadeCon is done with. Join me back here for the call to action after the show, but until then, enjoy the episode. Last time on Character Creation Cast, we rolled our characteristics and just started rolling up our backgrounds to learn more about our characters. We're picking up right where we left off. Enjoy.
So next is meaningful locations. So rolling on this, I have gotten an 8, which is your family home.
Meaningful locations. For me, I've got the grave of a significant person. Ooh. Oh, wow.
Mine is a place connected with your ideology, which is a belief in fate. So what is a place connected to a belief in fate?
Could be a church.
Mm-hmm. Could be like a gambling parlor.
Oh, I like that.
Oh. I was like a cliff that somebody accidentally fell off of.
Who is this significant person that has a grave that... I'm
going to make note of these and see how they all kind of connect together before I decide how...
It's a good...
what any of those things are.
Exactly. You kind of jump between this and your character skills and such as you begin to work things out. And next, treasured possessions.
Yeah, treasured possessions.
A sporting item.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
I rolled something you found but don't know what it is. Oh, perfect.
Ooh.
I got something given to you by your significant person, so my sibling.
You could have your entire character based off that one significant person because you've got the significant location being the grave. You've got something that was given to you by them.
Yeah. Every single one so far has related to them in some way, shape, or form.
Maybe you've got a twin.
Yeah. So the evil.
Maybe you are pretending to be your twin.
A twin. That sounds really interesting.
Maybe you stole your twin's identity. Your twin is dead, and now you're pretending to
Or you could even just you'd be
pretending they were you.
Pretending to be one of your brothers or sisters. Yeah.
Okay. I really like I really like that I stole their identity, and their treasured possession is their identity.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Because they died. Okay, so the first one, my ideology and belief was, what is this evil? There is an evil in society that should be rooted out. I wrote the rise of capitalism because why not?
Because that's our theme.
That's our theme now, apparently. So then sibling, a feeling of regret. I didn't help them out in a situation that ended their life.
Ooh.
And the grave is my sibling. And I took their identity. That's wow. Okay.
That's deep. That's an intense story right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours all like clicked together really.
Yeah. I still have traits to do, but yeah, let's see what happens with traits too.
I don't like the trait that I rolled. I got a good reputation. No,
you can always reroll.
What? Well, it's interesting though, because you could have a good reputation and not have it be earned.
That's true.
I got loyal for my trait, which is again,
that's so you.
Right in there with my background.
Sometimes it really works. Sometimes it really fits together.
Yeah, that's wild.
I've rolled a 3, which is a dreamer.
Oh.
So the next thing that we can jump onto is choosing our occupation. So occupations in Call of Cthulhu define the skills that we have access to. Now, technically, you can create your own occupation. So really, you can kind of pick whichever skills you want. But there are a list of sample occupations that are listed on page 4041 of the Call of Cthulhu rulebook. And you can also find some additional occupations in the Investigator Handbook.
Okay.
When you choose your occupation, you'll see a couple of rules around your occupational skill points. And this is basically how you determine how many points you have to spend across your various skills. So all occupations are built using education. That's your training in your occupation, so it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then every other occupation will also have one other characteristic that they draw from. Now, these characteristics can be your strength, your dexterity, your education, your appearance or your power, your size, your constitution. I don't believe constitution is used, but your size, and your intelligence definitely aren't, nor is your luck. So what is a great way to start is to look at the characteristics that you have generated and to figure out what your highest one is. So, for example, in my case, I have a really high power. I have a power of 80. So I will start looking towards things that use power, which, musician is one of them. Zealot, I believe, is also one of them. So I've got a couple of options there. If, for example, Dex was your highest, you might look at police officer or at drifter or at athlete or something like that. And I think I'm going to take artist as mine.
Interesting. So if I wanted to power game the amount of skill points I do get, mm-hmm. I would go for, because education's kind of the base, right?
Yes. You can also, there are also ones that use education times 4. So yep. You can take like scholar or something. Yeah.
So I would be looking at either int or appearance to go with it, because those are both 70
so
for
you
me.
Can't take int. Int will not appear in any of them. So appearance.
Oh, interesting. So I shouldn't look out for those then. Interesting. Yeah, so okay.
Education, appearance, dexterity, power. Those are the ones that I see,
that
right?
I'm seeing, yeah.
Okay. Because those are all like not as good. My con is 80. Everything else is like 50 or 60. Mm-hmm. I guess my appearance is.
It's really interesting.
So appearance is good for entertainer.
It's it's not bad for zealot either, so big fan of that.
And as I mentioned, there's also some additional occupations inside the Investigator Handbook. And
look at those too.
Interesting. There's a couple that I'm looking at right now that go completely different directions. Between con man, mm-hmm. From the criminal background in the investigator guide, or dilettante. Both rely on appearance, which is good. And both would probably be good reasons for why I am taking over my twin's identity.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I'm just, going to throw ideas that I've had about your character at you now because of what all the amazing things you roll. I think dilettante would be really cool. You could do something like, you were both, the heirs to some massive family fortune, but you squandered yours and lost it all. Somehow your brother gets killed and you've adopted his identity, or your sister get killed and you've adopted her identity, and you've taken the fortune because you lost all yours and you need it.
Oh, that's so good. And then the grave would be my name on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. But oh goodness. My other thought was also entertainer, like an actor. But that might have goodness, because then the famous actor would have died. And then I would have taken my sibling's identity, or vice versa. But I do like this whole dilettante. Like I all my stuff was squandered. Capitalism is evil, but my sibling was this like really well-rounded person that had like a lot of wealth to their name. So to keep that going, I kind of took over their business and their life at that point. Oh, goodness.
I don't know. The one in here that I'm leaning toward, honestly, is bartender.
Oh, fantastic.
Since I have, let's see, a belief in fate and a place connected with fate. And I don't know, I feel like we can play a lot of darts and a lot of poker in the back of a bar.
Oh.
I can make a lot of shifty deals. And also my treasured possession is a sporting item. So I just feel like this is a sports bar now.
Now, if we are playing the traditional United States kind of New England setting in the 20s, it's important to remember that it will be prohibition. So being a bartender has some additional cool things about it.
It also says I have a good reputation. So reputation for what? I don't know. Actually having real booze. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that.
That's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to go with dilettante. I really love that whole, like, my break was unlucky. My siblings' break was very lucky. And because of my actions, they died. Or because my lack of action at some point, they had died.
If it is your twin, and I'm just completely spitballing here, maybe you got in a bunch of debt. And they killed your brother thinking that your brother was you or something.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
It's a bit nasty.
Okay.
Don't let me pressure you.
Okay, no, that's beautiful.
So once we've established our occupation, the next step is we go through and we now use the occupation traits we've decided. So, for example, I'm taking artist, which uses power in education. So I times my power by 2, I times my education by 2, and I get the final total value. So in my case, my education is 70, which comes out to 140, and my power is 80, which comes out to 160. So those together will add up to 300. And I can then assign those 300 points amongst all of my occupational skills. And those are the skills that are listed alongside the occupation that you selected. So in my case, with artist, I have an art and craft of my choice, history, natural world, an interpersonal skill, another language, psychology, spot hidden, and any 2 other skills.
Okay.
Now, we will get a couple of other skills down the line. So if there's something that you're missing, that you really want, don't stress about it. But you now spread out all these skills. How I like to do things myself, I just assign everything to 50. I think that going super, super high tends to remove some of the excitement, although I will occasionally take one skill at about 70 if it's a defining characteristic. But by and large, I just like to put everything to 50.
Okay.
we're in the number crunching section. Once we're through this, we're ready to play.
Wonderful. So I'm just checking the boxes of all these skills that I have, and I can figure everything out from there.
Yeah,
One
same.
interpersonal skill: charm, fast talk, intimidate, or persuade.
Yeah, so those are the 4 talky skills. Persuade being trying to convince someone to do something. Intimidate being trying to scare them or coerce them. Charm being friendly and getting people to like you and enjoy your company. And fast talk basically being lying.
I got to go with fast talk.
I think that your character would be pretty good at it, all things considered.
I know. Any 3 other skills as personal or air specialties. Okay. Interesting.
Oh yeah, I get any one other. Yeah, the only one in here I don't like is like that I have fighting brawl, but I'm like I can't. It's not going to go well.
You have I think you should be fine still. Your damage bonus will be determined by your strength and your size, so you should still hit the standard damage bonus,
yeah.
which means that fighting brawl won't hurt you.
Okay, because my strength is really low, but my size is pretty high.
Yeah, well,
so.
we can figure that out right now. Do you have the auto-calculated spreadsheet up, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you should have a damage bonus in the bottom corner. Does your build say -1 or 0 or 1?
Hold on. 0.
0. Okay, that's totally fine. So you're not at the bonus stage where you're like a big, tough brawler, but you're perfectly fine.
All right.
Very nice.
I'm trying to decide on my one other skill.
I know.
A sleight of hand, maybe?
That's a good one. I wonder. What did I choose there?
I'm wondering, is like medicine a reasonable?
Yeah, I mean
because I feel like if we're talking about like 20s era bartender, like you should maybe have some like
basic
like
first aid knowledge.
First of all, like first aid knowledge, like, oops, I poisoned my customers, but also like, I feel like there's a level of like chemistry and like that is where a lot of that stuff was coming from, was like medical grade, like isopropyl alcohol kind of, taking things that were meant for medicinal purposes and then making booze out of them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Also from like a power gaming standpoint, somebody should know how to do medicine.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone should.
Oh, boy.
Because you picked dilettante. What did James pick?
I picked an artist.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
cool. Yeah, then I'm
lovely.
definitely going to go ahead and pick medicine as my last skill here.
Because artists don't know about medicine.
Because artists and dilettantes don't know anything about medicine.
No,
but I was saying, obviously, if we're talking about like 20s era prohibition and, that we were talking about using a lot of like medicinal and like medical grade alcohols being, distilled into something moderately drinkable.
Sounds fantastic.
So, and I said also maybe like maybe an important thing to know about not poisoning my own customers. So
for sure.
So there's a level of that too. If I'm going to maintain my good reputation.
Exactly. Or poisoning them in just the right way.
Right.
Yeah. So I took acting as my art and craft. And then I took French as my other language.
Brilliant.
Because and then you like the word dilettante?
I
French?
do.
It sounds French.
It does sound French, but maybe.
I took Spanish. I don't know.
And then the 3 that I chose, the 3 other skills were law, listen, and psychology.
Fantastic. Ooh. All good choices.
Yeah. I tried to think of somebody that will be able to pull off like playing their twin.
Yeah. I will say that the typical other language tends to be, because of course this is Call of Cthulhu, ancient Greek or Latin or hieroglyphics so that you can decode the tome. That said, having French and Spanish will particularly help, especially if you're going to be going to areas that are French or Spanish speaking so that you can get through.
Absolutely. I for whatever reason, Latin did not even cross my mind in a game that probably heavily utilizes that in the wild mythos tomes that you find.
Thinking about this, Ryan, though, and you have such a weird level of like power gaming versus making characters that are like totally useless. Like we have this terrible mix because we don't ever have to like Ryan and I always say, like, we never have to suffer the consequences of the decisions that we make on this show because we just make the characters and then we don't do anything with them. Mm-hmm. So we can make all kinds of choices that, like, taking French instead of Latin that, like, in a real game would probably not be useful, but we don't have to deal with that. But Ryan also likes to power game. Mm-hmm. So, like, you always have great stats and then you pick skills that are useless. And I love that about you.
It's fine. So I'm looking at percentages for assigning that to all my skills, and I'm noticing on the sheets themselves there are parentheses with percentages in them next to the skills right now. So, like, for my art and craft, it has 5% in there. For French, it's 1%, and so on. Is that like a starting percentage?
Yes. So every skill has a base value in it, and you'll see things like swim, like jump, like stealth, persuade. They have base values, and this basically means that anybody has a little bit of this skill. You have a starting ability in it. So any point that you put into it adds on top of that.
Okay,
very nice.
I was going to ask about that because a lot of skill-based games, there's that question of, like, well, what if I have to roll a skill that I don't have? So you do have, like, a little bit of things.
That's really interesting.
Sometimes only 5%. So
yeah,
good luck. But it's better than nothing.
There is a system in Call of Cthulhu where you gain 10 if you have a skill above, in languages is the most common. If you have French above 50, you would gain 10 in all other Romance languages.
Okay.
And similarly, if you picked another language, you sort of get the related ones.
I like that. I think I want to do that. So it has to be above 50 or exactly 50?
I believe it has to be above 50.
All right, 52. Fine. We'll make the math easy.
So it is how many points? Education times 2 and appearance times 2.
Now, the one thing I should have mentioned, because I completely forgot, now I'm a terrible person, is you will also notice that you have a credit rating there. Mm-hmm. Your credit rating is your wealth. It is also your reputation and your ability to sort of appear in well-to-do society. Now, it's not if you can kind of have a low reputation and people, still think you're great. This is kind of your credit rating in terms of your very official ability to command people based on your reputation and standing. You need to apply your credit rating with your educational points, and you will see that your skill has a distinct range. So, for example, if you pick author, the credit rating range is 9 to 30. If you pick engineer, the range is 30 to 60. If you pick Doctor of Medicine, the range is 30 to 80. Dilettante, 50 to 99, because of course you're a dilettante.
Exactly. So how do you determine where you lie within there?
You pick somewhere within that range and you have to assign points from your distribution of points that you're spreading throughout everything.
Oh, okay. So it starts at the lowest and you can just
it actually starts to 0. So if you have 50, you have to put in 50 points.
Oh, fancy. Okay.
It's minus 8 to 25.
Which is a terrible thing that I should have mentioned earlier because it's pretty critical.
No, that's fine. Oh, goodness. So I have to throw 50 points at it regardless. All right. So I've got 35 left. What can I do with that?
Oh, gosh. I hate math. Okay.
Yeah, this is really tingling my power gaming brain.
Okay. So I have 8. Oh, there's got 1.
The skill ride, is that
so that is riding animals, riding bicycles, all kinds of things like that.
It's interesting that it's I guess riding animals and stuff makes sense. Riding bicycles, I guess, yeah. You don't really know how to do it unless you know how to do it.
Horse riding, obviously a big thing if you're playing in the Wild West, things like that. And even in the 1920s, there's still, getting up on a horse every now and again.
I pop 15 points into ride, push me up to 20. Oh, these are probably bad choices, but you know what? It's fine. I think I've got it. I spent my 270 points.
All right, perfect. After you have done that, you are going to want to take a look at your intelligence, and you're going to want to times that by 2, and you can add that number of points to any skill you'd like this represents your hobbyist abilities.
Ooh.
So what have you been doing in your spare time? Picked up a little locksmithing, maybe?
Oh, that's really interesting. Maybe some psychoanalysis.
So what are we multiplying by 2? Sorry.
Our intelligence.
Your intelligence.
Wait, so that's like 140 points.
Yep, and you can spread those wherever you'd like afterwards, after you've done your education.
Okay.
These don't have to be in your professional skills. This is just wherever you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so we did our education and like, so whatever from our career or our occupation.
Yep.
And then now we do intelligence on top of that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Gosh, this is, I hate math. Ryan, why'd you pick a math game?
It's fine.
It's kind of a front-loaded thing. Once you've done this, you're in the clear, and you kind of never really have to do any of this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when, because the character sheet that we have on here auto-calculates the half and the fifth on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you always know what you're kind of rolling under, which is really cool. One question I did have, what happens if you roll the exact number? Is that
is a
hit
pass.
or that is a pass?
Yep.
Wonderful. Good to know.
See, I need to write this down because I'm trying to like math at this and I can't do it in my head.
I like how driving an automobile is 20%, whereas ride starts at 5%.
Yeah, well, I guess point the steering wheel, right? Whereas the horse has a mind of its own.
Uh-huh. Gonna put some points into persuade.
Oh, first aid also. I know I have medicine, but also first aid.
That's a good one. Well, medicine sounds like it's more, definitely doctor level stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
probably law too. I feel like that's a thing that I'm gonna need to deal with.
Yeah. I've got 50 in law right now.
Yeah, I only put 25 in there for now, but we'll see. Psychoanalysis.
I was thinking about that too.
Does.
I mean, right. I was thinking about that so I can psychoanalyze my brother's life post-mortem and try to better be.
Do you have disguise?
Oh, is that a skill?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I'm putting 30 points in that, so I'm at 35.
Yep.
That's all of it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Gosh. So yeah, we've got a lot of good skills here for this character.
Oh, Ryan, it's gonna take everything in me to not pick a library use.
I've got some library use if that makes it easier. Listen,
skill.
library use is really critical in Call of Cthulhu. There's a lot of times where you figure out a couple of clues and then the immediate option is quick, everyone to the library.
And honestly, that's your ticket into the furthering your power later on in the sessions, right?
Absolutely. It's very helpful to have that kind of information. And in longer campaigns, Horror on the Orient Express, it's really, really funny. That's a campaign where you're on the Orient Express and, bad things are happening at each of the stops. And it really gets to the point where you arrive at a city and you kind of come out cautiously waiting for something to attack you. And they go, all right, quick, everyone to the library and hurry on. As you start to frantically get as many books as you can, as much reading done as possible. Hurry.
Absolutely. So gosh, I could have put more points into my credit rating. Super rich sounds fun, but that's 49 more points or 48 more points than what I put in there.
So did you just put the base?
I put 51 points.
What is the base for yours?
50 is the lowest I could go.
Okay. So yeah, my range was 8 to 25. So
I'm thinking that I'm like
despite having a good reputation, apparently my credit is very low.
Yeah. I'm slowly discovering like my siblings' fortune, right? Like I'm assuming that they have hidden away some things that I still have yet to figure out how to access.
Yeah, and you're trying to get a hold of the reins. You have you meeting with the lawyer only through correspondence, so there's no awkward questions.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. I still haven't been able to tell if this is a good character or a bad character.
And
like
we'll
in
never
terms
really
of morality.
know because we don't have
Well, we'll get there in the fan fiction section, I'm sure.
Well, Ryan, I'm really proud of you that you are at a point where you can say that you don't know if they're a good character or a bad character, as opposed to like series 4, where Senda kept telling you over and over again, no, they are a bad person. And you kept saying, but like not that bad. And she kept saying, no, Ryan, bad.
They're very bad. That was the beginning of the end of my moral character compass.
I think Deadlands was the end of your moral character compass.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm really glad that I've been able to witness this growth.
It's been a lot of fun.
All right, I think I've put together my character.
I'm almost there. I have 20 more points that I just
I'm
have
debating
to
on subtracting 48 points from things and just going super rich because, why not?
It's pretty helpful, I will tell you.
You know what? We're going to just spend this last 20 points in occult. I tried not to. I held out as long as I could.
Uh-huh.
I have to be at least a little bit myself.
All right. I'm going to lower this and up my worth. I'm going to lower... oh, that one hurts a little bit. It's okay. 25. Add it up by 6. There we go. We're getting there. We're up to 86 credit rating right now.
Oh my God.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I think, yeah. Where does that leave me now? 96 credit rating times 20.
Sorry, I was during character creation, you can't put a skill over 90, I believe. Credit rating might be an exception, but my understanding is 90 is the highest.
Oh, let me see.
Okay, I have a question on the backstory page.
Yes.
There's injuries and scars, phobias and manias. I know what a phobia is. What is a mania?
So a mania,
it's like a thing you're obsessed with?
Exactly. Yeah. So the inverse of a phobia. Those starts by default blank. Of course, you can add something if it's pertinent to your character. You may develop them throughout play.
Gotcha. Because I was like, I know what mania is in general because I have that. But
all right. I'm gonna just stick it at 90 and put those 6 points back somewhere just so I know that we're fine. We'll put that back in psychology. That's fine. And one more point somewhere. Fast talk. Sure. There we go.
Brilliant.
Now I don't have to look it up.
And with that, our characters are complete. We now look towards very quickly a couple of final details, but if you have the auto-calculating sheet, those will have already been generated. So your hit points, your movement rate, your builds, things like that. So movement rate is useful in chasers. Hit points is how much health you have. Magic point determines how much oomph you can put into your spells. Your damage bonus is how hard you hit things and how effective you are in wrestling, things like that. Let's determine our character's age. Should have probably done this earlier, but that's okay. Pick an age.
I'm just going to go 24.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to go 33.
I feel like I want to be like 40.
Perfect. So 40 is technically in the bracket where you start to feel the effects of age for the first time. So
really? Because I'm 33 and I'm pretty sure I'm feeling it.
Mechanically, at least. So,
okay.
So first of all, for the two of us who are in the 20 to 40-year-old bracket, we make 2 improvement checks for education. So this means we now roll a D100 and we want to fail this. We are rolling against our education and we want to fail.
So we want to roll higher.
Yes.
Oh boy.
My first roll was a success, which means not great.
Oh.
And my second one was also a success. So
I rolled a 2 for my first one.
Yep.
I saw the 0-0 and I was very hopeful, but then 42. I also succeeded.
Okay, nothing happens then. For us, our characters are fine.
Okay.
But you shall. I don't have the same experience. So you need to make a. You need to do exact. We shouldn't have done 2. We should have just done 1. You do 2.
I do 2 education rolls?
Yes, that's right. We should have just done the 1.
Sorry, and those are D10s, right?
Yeah, D100s.
D100s, okay. Oh, hey, look at that. That's a 93.
Ooh. So that means you failed.
I know.
All right. In which case, you can increase your education by 1d10.
Ooh.
Because okay. Well.
That's interesting.
4.
4. So your education goes up by 4, and make a second education improvement test.
Okay. I'll change this before I forget.
Wow.
Now it's 69.
Nice.
All right. That is 31.
Okay. So you've only increased your education by 4, but bear in mind that that will give you an extra couple of points to play with. So you should you don't worry. It's only an extra 8 points.
4, right?
Double, so 8 points.
Oh God, that's even worse.
Just toss them in something.
I know.
Toss them in
Look
language.
at that. First day, now it's 18.
There you go.
Look at that.
Brilliant.
Easy.
And you also, tragedy, you must deduct 5 points from either your strength, your constitution, or your dexterity.
I'm going to put my constitution down to 75.
Fantastic. And you reduce your appearance by 5.
That's just garbage. All right.
Brilliant.
That is done.
So now we need names, right?
The other book has names in it.
What?
Yes, you can use there's tables that you can roll on. Otherwise, you can decide on your name. Let's assume that we'll be playing in the traditional New England setting. So if that gives you any guidance as to names you'd like to pick, of course, you might not be from New England, but there you go.
All right, I'm going for it. Table me up. If you have a random table, I'm going to roll on it. You know, right?
Did you find it? It's on page 54.
It is. It's on page 54. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I rolled a 2 again. Interesting. Abraham or Agatha. We'll see what my surname is, and I'll choose based on that.
Okay.
91. Valier. Ooh, interesting. I like that. Agatha. I'm going to go with Agatha. Agatha Valier.
I don't know. I got Rupert or Phyllis, and I'm just not sure.
I want to see what my twin's name is.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
91. Sybil. I like
Good
that.
name. I'm just really not loving any of these here. It's gonna keep rolling.
So I always go by Sybil unless you know my secret.
What is your secret name?
My secret name is Agatha. My sibling's name, whose identity I have become, is Sybil.
Ooh, roll the 100.
Oh.
It's Winifred, and obviously that's what we're going with because that is my parents' dog's name.
It's fate. I'm going with she, her pronouns.
Perfect.
What was your character's name then, James?
I'm going to go with Grégoire Moulinier. I'm going to take a French name.
Ooh, nice.
And my character is an artist, and I've decided to make the most intolerable artist of all time. They have huge intimidate. They're a genius, and you are distracting them from their work as they stomp about their apartment, flinging paint everywhere and yelling to themselves.
One of the last names in this table is Slaughter, and so obviously, even without rolling, I'm going to go ahead and pick that.
Very cool.
Can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Exactly. Oh, this is very good. Residence.
The classic would be Arkham.
Oh, yeah. But what is the name of my bar?
Ooh.
Gosh, that's a good question, right?
Because we can't just call it the Slaughterhouse, even though I really want to.
Yeah, come on. That's the best.
You
the
have
Slaughterhouse.
to.
That's
you
so good.
have to.
Okay.
Haus.
Duh. I'm just going to write this down for my residence so that I don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
I guess my residence would have to be the Valier estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In Arkham.
It's actually in the suburbs.
In the suburbs of Arkham. The posh 1920s suburbs of Arkham.
Yep.
That would be so much worse, I would imagine, because all the horror is going to start on the outside, on the outskirts, and work its way inwards.
Exactly. Suburbs are bad news. You'll end up getting eaten there.
Yeah. Unless you're in a fancy mansion. in the rich part of the suburbs. Yeah. Cthulhu-esque crocodiles guarding my mansion.
Very true.
How I got them, who knows?
Don't ask questions.
I just paint extra eyes on regular crocodiles.
Did you hire an artist to do that for you?
I know.
The work, it must be complete. I've added extra legs too. You can't stop me. It's art.
A commentary on the times. Amazing. So it sounds like we did it. It sounds like we made it people. What about luck?
Luck, yes, that final last touch. So roll 3d6 and times it by 5.
See, turned real Amelia is not very lucky, so we're gonna see how this goes. Oh, fake Amelia is not bad.
Luck is my lowest at 35.
Ooh, well, that makes sense. Your character fell on some hard times.
I know. Gonna have to build that back up somehow.
You do get luck you do earn luck throughout play, but you also spend it throughout play. So, yeah.
Oh,
Mine's
interesting.
70.
70. Oh, you are very lucky.
Wow.
Mine is 45.
Very nice.
And with that,
and what is our starting sanity then, too?
Your starting sanity is equal to your power.
Ooh.
Aw.
Aw.
Was that an I'm too sane or I'm not sane enough?
Well, it's only 35, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, that just means you get to the fun part quicker.
That's true.
Just like real Amelia.
Amazing.
With that, we are done.
Woo!
Oh, this was really fun.
Yes.
There was a lot of math, but it didn't feel like it was overpowering, at least.
No, it wasn't terribly math because I could round everything to like 5s. So
absolutely.
Except for first aid, which I put at 18. It was Amelia levels of math. Like dear listeners, I could do it, and so can you.
It's true.
And yeah, from there, your characters don't change a huge amount in Call of Cthulhu. You have improvement checks as their skills gradually increase. But most of what changes will be their story, their attitudes. You might add more to their backgrounds and flesh out new interesting details. But these investigators, and now we would figure out some links between the party. We would talk with our keeper, and we would get ready to dive in to Call of Cthulhu and some cosmic horror.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to get to our fanfic in our next episode about how we all got together and everything.
James, thank you so much for joining us for our Call of Cthulhu character creation episodes.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to be here.
Do you want to remind everybody where they can find you and what you're up to?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter at RoboPelican, and you can find me streaming Call of Cthulhu at the Stream of Chaos on the weekends. Check that out on the Chaosium Twitch channel or on the Chaosium YouTube channel.
Very cool. And thank you, everybody else, for listening. And please join us on the next episode for our discussion block. Call to action.
Yeah, like that.
I didn't anticipate how much I'd be invested in these characters, but I'm really itching to play them right now. There was definitely a lot of math involved in the process, but that really did get my mind going for how to power game the system, and that's always fun. We got into some great discussion as well, so I can't wait for you to hear that next episode. But before we let you go, we do have a couple calls to action. First up, if you are attending AcadeCon this year, check out our events. Amelia is running a couple world-building sessions, and I am running a couple Chimera sessions, as well as a session of my Dread Reflections Highlander mashup, our final gathering, the Dreaded Reflections of the Immortal Soul. If you are a patron of the One Shot Network and have access to the Secret Archive, you can actually hear how character creation works for that system right now. It's a ton of fun and ripe for historical shenanigans. In addition to all these games, Amelia and I are also planning a character creation cast creates random characters with you panel, where we'll have a wide array of random tables and, utilizing audience participation, roll on them to create a group of random people and figure out what sort of setting they would play in. It was a lot of fun last time, and this next time should be even better. Finally, check out the Haunted Hill Academy Kickstarter that is still in need of your help to fund. It is a fantastic game about being a student at a spooky boarding school, and it seems ripe for Scooby-Doo shenanigans, eldritch horror, straight-up wizarding school, or anything in between. The character creation is pretty great and gives you a lot of flexibility for your character. You can check out our Spotlight episode on it from the last week, or you can go check out the Kickstarter right now and help get it funded. That's all we have for now. Until next time, stay safe, drink water, get vaccinated if you haven't yet, and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time. Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter at CreationCast or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can be found in the show notes. If you'd like to leave us a rating or review, we have links to various review platforms out there, including Apple Podcasts, in our show notes. Also, check the show notes for links to our other projects. Thanks for joining us, and remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We will see you next time.
Now we gotta read some show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs. Character Creation Cast is hosted by the One Shot Podcast Network. If you enjoyed our show, visit oneshotpodcast.com, where you'll find other great shows like Design Doc.
Join hosts Hannah Schaefer and Evan Rowland as they redesign a role-playing game. Design Doc is an experiment in public participatory analog game design. It's fun, it's messy, and you're invited along for the ride.